It is the world's boldest experiment, a near-mythical city that should never have existed. It is built by ingenuity and precision. In half a century, Dubai rose from a humble fishing village into a global force, building the tallest tower on Earth, carving islands visible from space, and forging a financial hub that rivals cities centuries older. And behind the city stands a family defined by ruthless ambition and surgical efficiency, the Maktoums. They took a harsh environment and turned it into a desert empire. Before the 1800s, Dubai is nothing more than a nameless fishing village on the edge of an empty desert. The air is dry and full of salt. The sea brings pearls but no fortune. The people live in huts of palm and mud, surviving on dates, fish, and the mercy of the tides. Far to the south, deep in the Liwa oasis, the FINAiUS tribe rules a small confederation of settlements. Life here depends on wells and camels, and the tribe's power rests on fragile alliances among its branches. The Al-Biyu Falah, who rule Abu Dhabi, and the Al-Biyu Falasa, their cousins who will one day rule Dubai. For years, they lived under the leadership of Sheikh Tahnun bin Shakhbut al-Nahyan, a cautious but respected ruler trying to keep peace between rival brothers. When Tahnun dies in 1833, power passes to his brother Khalifa bin Shakhbut, a man ambitious and eager to secure his throne. Within months, whispers of betrayal spread through the tribe. Some accuse Khalifa of plotting against his kin. Others claim his cousins conspire to replace him. In the desert, rumor is enough to start a war. When Khalifa took power, every brother, every cousin became a potential rival. On a quiet evening in late 1833, Khalifa invites his rivals to a grand wedding feast in Liwa. It is meant to celebrate unity among the families, the Al-Biyu Falah, the Al-Biyu Falasa, and the tribal elders. As the celebration reaches its height, the ruler gives his command. Swords are drawn. In moments, the feast turns into chaos. Friends of Al-Biyu Falasa men fall. Guests, many from the Al-Biyu Falasa branch, are cut down inside the tents. The massacre shatters the fragile peace within the FINAiUS. The massacre at Liwa left the FINAiUS tribe divided and broken. Many of the Al-Biyu Falasa branch lost their families, their homes, and their faith in Abu Dhabi's rulers. Two cousins, Obaid bin Said and Maktoum bin Bouti, refuse to submit. They decide to lead their people north. They gather a few hundred followers, pack their camels, and begin a long journey through the dunes. After weeks of travel, they reach the coast. There, they find a small creek that cuts through the sand and opens to the sea. On its banks stand a few huts of palm leaves, home to fishermen and pearl divers. Obaid and Maktoum saw promise in this place. The creek could shelter boats. The nearby trade routes brought merchants from Oman and India. Here, no one ruled them. They built houses, dug wells, and welcomed traders. Soon, people begin to call the settlement Dubai. But in the region, a powerful player already looms: the British East India Company. In the early 1800s, the British Empire is expanding its power across the seas. Through the East India Company, Britain controls much of India and wants to secure trade routes through the Arabian Gulf. The region is full of small ports, tribes, and rival sheikdoms. The British seek only one thing: safe passage for their ships to India. To protect its trade routes, Britain extends its influence over the Arabian coast, forcing local rulers to obey its maritime laws. In 1819, Britain sent a fleet from India. The British Navy attacked Ras Al Khaimah, burning ships and forts and destroying the Qawasim fleet, one of the most powerful tribes in the region. The battle crushed their power and sent a clear message to every coastal ruler: resist and you will fall. For Dubai's new leaders, Maktoum bin Bouti and Obaid bin Said, the lesson is clear. No one challenges the might of the British Empire. In 1820, the region's rulers signed the General Maritime Treaty with Britain. It ends piracy, guarantees safe trade routes, and hands Britain control over foreign affairs. For Dubai, it also brought a degree of security. Under British protection, ships could travel safely, and the small port began to attract merchants and traders seeking a peaceful harbor. Maintaining peace with Britain, the Maktoum rulers governed simply. They settled disputes, collect modest taxes from traders, and allow freedom of commerce. By the late 1800s, Dubai has become a small but reliable port, surviving on pearling, fishing, and modest trade. But wealth drains toward rising ports like Linge and Bahrain, and the old system can no longer compete. Soon, a ruler will rise to break that stagnation and open Dubai to the world. His name is Sheikh Maktoum bin Hashir al Maktoum. Sheikh Maktoum bin Hashir was born around 1878 into a family already shaping Dubai's early destiny. He is the grandson of Maktoum bin Bouti, the founder of the ruling line. From a young age, Maktoum grows up near the creek, watching ships arrive with goods from India, Persia, and East Africa. He was known for being curious, disciplined, and unusually forward-thinking. While other children play, he listened to merchants talk about profit, taxes, and routes. When his father passes away, Maktoum steps into power at the end of the 19th century. He is still young, but already respected by the merchant families. Dubai at this time was small and poor compared to Bahrain and Linga. Sheikh Maktoum saw that trade was the only way to survive. On one crisp evening, walking along the creek, Sheikh Maktoum watches ships turning away toward other ports with lower tariffs. That moment stays with him. He calls his advisors and declares that Dubai must do something bold, remove all taxes on trade. His idea is simple but radical for its time. In 1894, Sheikh Maktoum signs a decree abolishing customs duties. Traders, especially Persians fleeing heavy taxes, start arriving in numbers. Merchants find safety, low costs, and freedom to operate. The markets in Deira and Bur Dubai begin to grow, and Dubai becomes a magnet for commerce. Within years, the creek fills with cargo boats, and the town expands into a regional trading hub. Dubai changes quickly after the Freeport Revolution. With no trade taxes, merchants from across the Gulf begin to arrive. The creek fills with boats carrying goods from India, Persia, and East Africa. Small shops open in Deira, new homes rise from the sand, and the air fills with the noise of trade. For the first time, Dubai feels alive with purpose. Among the new arrivals are merchants from Bastak, a small town in southern Persia. They were traders, builders, and craftsmen, escaping high taxes and restrictions under the Qajar rulers. Sheikh Maktoum welcomed them, offering land along the southern bank of the creek. There they build wind tower houses and narrow streets that become known as Al-Bastakiya, a district that brings Persian architecture, trade networks, and capital into the heart of Dubai. Migration and trade have enriched Dubai, but now, a new kind of industry begins to rise. This time, it will come from the sea, from the glimmer of pearls hidden beneath the Gulf's calm waters. The pearl industry began quietly in the late 1800s, when fishermen started diving for oysters, not only for food, but for the treasures inside them. The Gulf's shallow, warm waters were ideal for pearl oysters, so it didn't take long before diving turned from a seasonal job into a full-time lifestyle for thousands of men. Every summer, hundreds of boats set out from Dubai Creek in search of pearls. Each boat carries a crew of divers, ropemen, and traders. The divers work from sunrise to sunset, using only nose clips, stone weights, and baskets tied to their belts. They dive dozens of times a day, holding their breath for nearly a minute each time. By the early 1900s, pearling becomes the backbone of Dubai's economy, providing most of its income and employment. The boom turns Dubai into a busy, wealthy port. But the glory will not last. Across the world, a new kind of pearl, one made by science, is being created. And it will come from an unexpected place: Japan. In the early 1900s, a man named Kokichi Mikimoto experiments with ways to grow pearls artificially. He and a group of scientists discovered that if they place a small bead and a piece of oyster tissue inside a live oyster, the creature coats it with nacre, creating a perfect pearl. The process takes months, but the results are astonishing. By 1916, Japan begins producing cultured pearls that look identical to natural ones, but at a fraction of the cost. When these new pearls reach the world markets, buyers can no longer tell the difference. Merchants in Bombay and Paris start choosing the cheaper Japanese product. Within a few years, the price of natural pearls collapses. The Gulf's traders, who have relied on this one industry for generations, see their wealth disappear almost overnight. In Dubai, the impact is devastating. Ships stay docked, divers lose work, and many families fall into debt. Pearls that once defined its glory now sit unsold in wooden boxes. The city that once floated on pearls now drifts without direction. And soon, a political storm will erupt that will challenge Maktoum's family rule itself. The collapse of the pearling industry leaves Dubai in ruin. The markets once filled with pearls and traders now stand half empty. Many families lose their income, and debts pile up. The sheikh's treasury dries up, and even the merchant elite begin to struggle. And that struggle will soon erupt into a movement. A group of powerful merchants, frustrated by mismanagement and economic collapse, gather to demand change. They call for a majlis, or council, to help the ruler make decisions about spending, trade, and taxation. Many are close allies of the ruling family. At first, Sheikh Said agrees. The majlis meets, debates, and drafts policies. For a moment, it seems like Dubai is entering a new era, one where authority is shared and decisions are guided by reason, not tradition. But quickly, the movement overreaches. The council begins to challenge the ruler's control of taxes and contracts. Rumors spread that they want to limit the sheikh's power entirely. If this continues, it will challenge the very foundation of Maktoum's rule in Dubai. By late 1938, Dubai is split in two. Sheikh Zayed and his loyal Bedouins control Bur Dubai, while the reformists fortify Deira across the creek. In March 1939, during the wedding of Sheikh Rashid bin Zayed Al Maktoum, meant to symbolize peace and unity, tragedy strikes again. Gunfire erupts at the wedding. Hashir bin Rashid, the Majlis leader, is shot dead, along with his son and several reformist allies. By dawn, the Majlis is gone. The reformers are exiled or executed. Sheikh Zayed remains in power, his rule preserved by force and British approval.